floats. She'll stand. So, how much time?
35 minutes.
Okay. Thank you all for joining us. Oh, that's fine.
A teddy bear?
Yeah. All right. So my name is Dana Croschere. I am the producer of Rescued Hearts film. And just to give you a little bit of background, we started filming. There's a lot of activity up here.
Sorry.
No, it's good. Make myself comfortable. First of all, thank you for joining us for those 20 minutes. And we started this journey about 13 months ago. We obviously filmed all over the place. All right, I'm just going to wait because everybody's over here. And that's okay. I can be over here too. No, it's good. Krisanna. Cakewalks. Visually. Okay. We're not producing this. As filmmakers, we can't really go anywhere without, you understand. I mean, it's about visual, and anyway, Krisanna's always got a camera. But Krisanna and I really went on this journey when I started volunteering again. We actually have another film that we released also in the space of healing. As filmmakers, we really want to spread a lot of love, hope, and healing through our films. And we released a film called Love Heals, which is doing really, really well. It's on PBS now. It's on our website for free. It's also on Gaia, if you're familiar with that streaming platform. And so I started volunteering after we completed that film. We put our entire hearts and souls into it. And my favorite place to volunteer are places where there are horses helping humans, helping horses. And I started volunteering with an 8-year-old who she was in foster care for a period of time and then was luckily adopted by a woman who recognized the healing power of horses and had her start working with horses at a young age. And it was the only thing truly that could help this little girl. No traditional therapy was helping her. And I started volunteering with her, and at first it was about the horses, and it very quickly became about this young girl and her siblings. And so I would come home and tell Krisanna, oh my gosh, there's something here. 15 years ago I witnessed the miracle. I don't know if you could hear or you saw that part, but watching a child that never spoke words for 7 years of his life. You know, he was diagnosed with autism, and watching him speak his first words while I was volunteering with this child and this horse, it was just magic. I never really understood it at the time, but it felt like a miracle. So fast forward, I've been volunteering, and then HeartMath came out. Not came out, it was older research that was like recirculating again, and it was being shared tens of thousands of times. And we'll let Dr. Ellen Gerke tell us a little bit more about that. We're so lucky to have been able to film with her. But I started to recognize that people are curious about the horse-human connection from a therapeutic perspective, or what is the power of that? How does that transform us? And I was very curious. So my partner, who is not, hasn't really been around horses, had to trust me on this one. And so began the journey. So I would like for her to introduce herself, and then we'll do the same for our lovely folks that we got to film with. Do you have a mic? Okay, I can bring it to you.
Hi, thanks for being here. Yeah, this has been an amazing journey, and I think it's interesting to watch the edit because I did the edit, and yet I feel like I get something different out of it every time. So, yeah, I'm just grateful to be in this space and to be like maybe a non-biased observer. Like, I'm very curious about the work, and I think perhaps that helps us tell a story that's not based on like old knowledge. And we're always staying open and curious. So I think what a gift to be in this space with people like yourselves who love horses and do this work with humans and horses. And it's just like the last year has been the greatest gift of my life. And I'm excited for the film to come together and the short films, and you know, we got a lot in the works. But these humans up here, I'm so grateful for, because we would not have the powerful content we do without them. So thank you all for being here. George, would you like to go next?
Michelle? I already got one. Is it on? Just go ahead and introduce yourself. Okay.
Hi, I'm Michelle Peterson, and I have been living and breathing horses my whole life. And I grew up in the show world, showing in A-rated shows and wondering why everyone was acting so crazy, no offense. But I was like, these are my friends. I don't want to do that to them. And I left at about 12 years old when my instructor wanted to put a gag bit on my horse so I would win the Pinto Princess because I needed to win my pleasure class. So she wanted to put a gag bit on him so I'd win the title and wear a plastic crown all year and make her look really good. And I said, I'll win that pleasure class if we put him in his stall, give him hay and some carrots and let me sit in the shavings with him and I'll go win that class. She put a gag bit on him and we bucked the whole class. And I laughed and I said, I told you and I'm done. And I left the show world. So I've had horses since I was 7. I'd lay in the fields and watch them and study them. And I worked with troubled horses my whole life. And I'd figure out how to get close to them and their way so we could be friends because they were my people. So I'd be like, how am I going to learn how to ride this horse? Because they're my friend, not because I'm a really good trainer. So they're my kindred. They're my family. I'm part horse. That's how I operate. That's how I feel. And I've been doing the horse listener thing my whole life. And for me, I don't believe the horses are trying to heal us or that they're here to heal us. I think they're here to be horses, and they're amazing. And they have giant hearts. And I've been doing equine, what do I call it? I call them medicine horse journeys because I take people into the world of the horse, which is completely heart-based. And that's where I go. And people come home to their own hearts. That's it. And so we're entering their world, and through that we come home to our own hearts. And that's what I'm all about, and I've been doing that for 20 years. And watching horses, I don't ever put a halter on them or make them engage. They come up if they want, and they always do. I've done it in grassy fields, I've done it in pens with hay everywhere, with all their friends, and what do they choose to do? They come and choose to put their head over a grieving woman or man and hold them over and over and over, literally I have one horse that lines up directly with people who are grieving, either behind them or in front of them. I've not trained them to do it. They are free beings. They can feel, they have big nose. They're allowed to say, I don't want to, and they choose it. So to me, they're land angels, and I believe that if you're a spiritual person, you don't have to be, but I believe the divine is working through them, and that's not an ideology, it's love. So I watch them move in love. And to me, that's what heals. So that's what I'm about. My website, and I don't remember to do that stuff, is called Medicine Horse Healing. George and I are doing a retreat together in April. I forgot to plug that if anybody wants to come and play with us in 30 Mustangs 30. In Colorado. And we're going to dive into hanging out with horses and healing and Qigong. Qigong? Did I say that right? And then my thing, which is hanging out with horses, and then I tell you what they're showing me, because I do really experience their world very deeply. And I think that's all I got to say. I think I plugged everything. This film is amazing. I've been with them since the beginning. I have now 2 really good friends that are just take really good care of me when we travel together. And I've watched them film all these incredible voices. And the thing about this film is it's a voice for the horse. It's a voice for the heart. It's not about horses healing people or them working for us. It's about who they really are and the people that understand them. And that's why I'm so passionate about it, because the horses need a voice. It's not about control and domination and all the crap that's going on in society. It's about this. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Please support the film. Share it. Get flyers. Share it with your friends. Go on social media. Do the tag thing and say you can donate here. And thanks for listening. And thanks for having me.
Hi, I'm Dr. Ellen K. Gerke, and it's a pleasure to be a part of their journey. When they contacted me, I was like, oh, build shit, all this crap with it. You remember, I was like, nah, you don't want to come, because I'm kind of sick of some of it. Oh, okay, thank you. And so they came, and I also invited one of my favorite veterans who's been on a really wild journey, and they brought out a lot of wonderful things in him. But you know, I guess I really want to plug them, because I think they've really undertaken something that's very masterful and makes a big contribution. But yet I also feel that I've often straddled different worlds. I mean, I work with CEOs and business people, do leadership training. I've had big corporations send. I had one company that said, "We've done so much leadership training. Why are we out here with these horses?" And the president came up to me after we had a day with the horses and said, "I've never done training like this, and I'm never going to forget it." And it wasn't me; it was the horses. It opened all their hearts. They all became better working together as a team, because it was team building, it was resilience, it was communication, it was being present, it was being all of those things from a corporate perspective. All the other things I do with children with autism, with combat veterans, with children at risk, I don't charge them anything. I pay for it with my own money. I don't want to have to deal with getting grants, and it's for them, and it's my way of giving back. And I've worked with veteran centers. I've worked with rehab centers. I also, most of my training came through having a horse that just hated me, and I didn't understand that. And so, I mean, I was in a clinic, and everybody's horse went to their person, and mine went to the other side of the round pen. And people were laughing at me, and it hurt me, and I felt kind of betrayed. But I felt a deep desire to, like, why did this horse not want to be with me? And he'd actually been quite damaged in another realm. And in working with him, and then the person that helped me said, "Oh, I think you're ready for a Mustang." And I wasn't ready for a Mustang, and really being ready for a Mustang, because I was thinking, oh, I had this young horse that was crazy. Now I'm going to get an older one. So I got an 8-year-old Mustang that had just been gathered in Tonopah, Nevada. And so he'd had 8 years of getting to be wild, and it's like, that was a dumb thing to do. I went the opposite direction. But that horse, and he's still alive, he's 33 right now, taught me more about me. And I didn't ask him to be my teacher. I didn't ask to use him. I didn't do anything. I just tried to say, what can I do not to take the spirit out of this wild horse? Because I felt bad for him, I felt bad that his life had been changed. And I worked with professional clinic people that deal with the horse's perspective, like a Ray Hunt, and I don't know if you've heard of Harry Whitney or Mark Rashid and so forth, but they really helped me look at the horse's point of view. And I think their work has I don't see them doing a lot of the healing stuff, but I think they do healing stuff because people find that bridge. And you guys have been interviewing some of those people, but I started realizing that the horses were, I did an experiment. I was teaching leadership to master's students, and I was reading all these damn theories, and I said, this is so bullshit. If we do really good at teaching leadership to executives, how come all of our companies are so effed up? And so I said, you know what, I'm going to experiment with you guys. Do you mind? And they said, no, let's do it. I go, you're going to come out and do working with my horses for 1 week, and then we'll have in the classroom another week, we'll work on the theories, and we'll see if they apply with the horses. And most of them didn't. But what happened is, with the leadership training that we did with the horses, they learned how to show up. They got immediate feedback, and I don't like to say that the horses were tools, so I'm trying to present that, because to me, safety was always number one, no matter what. No matter what. I'd take a horse out if they were upset. I'd take a human out if they were in danger of having bad energy or something to a horse. But it turned out that these, and I still am in touch with many of them. This is even 20 years ago that we started doing this. And I think that they gained more out of the experience of trying. I always start with, okay, we're sitting on a couch, we're watching a football game, or we're a horse or something, and we're eating potato chips and drinking beer and having a good time. That's, to me, some of the groundwork that people do. Like, hey, let's just hang out together. But then, so that would be leading a horse, or brushing and grooming. And then I'd say, then we kind of horses like to have a job, and so do we. So we'd have little obstacle courses, and then things started changing. Because now they had to show up as a leader and a partner. Because no matter how people talk about, that you're the partner with a horse, you still have to be there for him. You still have to be the safety net. You still have to be the interpreter. I'm sorry, you're the leader, but you're not a dominant leader. You're a partner leader. You're a servant leader. You're, that kind of a leader. And so when they had to learn that stuff, I'd see them, let the lead line go, and I'd say, yeah, I know exactly what kind of manager you are. Laissez-faire, people walk all over you, the organization's a mess. And they go, how did you know? Look at how you're interacting. And then I'd see them where they'd walk them like this. And the horse was like, I'm not sure. So, I mean, we'd always stop it and we'd give them feedback because I don't want the horse to imprint anything. And they would, is this interesting? Because I don't want to, okay. So then they'd adjust. So and they'd do it somatically. So I'd say, okay, stop, breathe. What does it feel like that you're holding this horse like this, or you're letting it go to eat and do, and you think it's nice, that you're being nice to him? And within like a minute or two, they would change. And they would walk through the obstacle course with a whole new posture, with a whole new sense of being. And the horse would like, oh my God, the human showed up. And they'd walk along with him, and you'd see the footfall match, and you'd see the horse have a soft tail, you'd see the ear on the horse, and you'd see him licking and chewing and paying attention and feeling good inside, and so did the human. And I think, I don't know the words because people keep trying to put some different things on values of let's not use horses, let's do tools, or, I also don't think they're the healers. I think they're whatever we want them to be for us, as long as we let them be who they are. And just like we need to let people be who they are and appreciate that. And so I am the person. I managed to run into HeartMath years ago and met the research director. And they were working with dogs at the time to look at heart rate variability. And I asked Dr. McCready, I said, do you think we could do that with horses? Next thing I know, they're at my ranch. We're measuring things. We're hooking up electrodes. We're doing all this data analysis. And then they wrote something up. And it's 20 years, 2005, 2006. I still get people from all over the world asking me about the HeartMath stuff. Anyway, I have a story, but I may not share it because I don't want to hurt HeartMath because I think they're wonderful. But to me, authenticity is the most important thing. That we show up who we are, we find out who we are, and we be there because the horse will be with you for all of that. They did something to me that was very inauthentic, and so I broke off with them. We have, in all respect for them, we have healed that and talked about it, and I probably would be willing to do the research because they didn't do a lot more research after this event happened between us, and now I see the need for a lot more research between the heart and the polyvagal nervous system and so forth, and I'm probably, Roland and I will be talking some more. I've forgiven, I'm okay, and if you want to hear the story, I don't want it to be on the tape because I don't want to hurt them. So it's because I just want to say that they're an amazing organization. I think they brought mindfulness and stuff to a level to people who don't have to make it religious. So and so forth. So anyway, blah, blah, blah. You can ask me some questions later. Please support their film. It was great having them there. I was in a shitty mood before they arrived, and I thought, I don't want to do this shit. People keep asking me to do this and this. And they showed up, and I just love them. They're amazing people. They're doing a fantastic job, and the journey's amazing. So.
Yeah, my name's George Brown Eyes, and I'm one of the Mustangers across the way, and I have a date with my little girl here as soon as I'm done here. So if you want to see me walking the walk instead of just talking the talk, follow me over there. So that's my little shameless plug. HeartMath opened my eyes, or maybe not opened my eyes, but back there 20 years ago or 15 years ago, always been a fan of Mustangs. I'm one of Mustang Annie's kids. I wrote the letters to Congress and the president back in 1971 to pass the Wild Horse and Burro Act. So that's how far back I go with Mustangs. But I love that HeartMath was working with Mustangs. I'm like, okay, we got Mustangs and science at the same time. And that's cool because I am an aerospace engineer, so I gobble up science. But what I find so boring about science is science will only go as far as science can go. Galileo, Copernicus, all of these great scientists in the past could only go as far as they could go. It was mystery and magic at that time that is where science is today. But I want to be in the mystery and magic of where science is going to be 50 years from now, 100 years from now. And horses aren't afraid to jump down the mystery and magic rabbit holes that science is still trying to figure out. And that's where I embrace both science and magic. Magic begins where science ends. But science is going to catch up with magic, and then magic's going to go further. It's kind of like it's like the push me, pull me in Dr. Seuss. One couldn't exist without the other. And so I love science. And I could talk physics all day, and I could apply aerospace engineering to horsemanship. But thank God horses are not rocket science. And I just found horses want us to get back to the essence of this planet. We are all earthlings. Some of us have hoofs, some of us have feet, some have wings, what have you. This is one planet. If any one species, and I'm looking at humanity, screws this planet up, everyone's screwed. All animals, all life. So my belief on the horse is the horse at this point had carried us as far as the internal combustion engine. And then science really took over and engineering took over. But up to that point, humanity would have gotten nowhere without the horse. And we've boldly gone with our egos and our huge frontal lobes and all of that, have gone like 100 years of arrogance, like we are smarter than the earth that's been here for 5 billion years. I believe the horses are wanting us to get back to our authentic humanity and back to being authentically kind to everyone. That the egos have got to go, by the way. I talked about isms, that horses, ism isn't in a horse's vocabulary. Racism, sexism, communism, name the ism. There are no isms. What if humanity could live a life like a herd of horses without isms? So anyhow, I'm just going to leave that one out there.
Thank you, George. So I have been advised that we can actually open this up for Q&A. So if anybody has questions, we're going to wrap up with Q&A. So we have like another 25 minutes. We don't have to take it all. So don't feel like you're stuck here with us. But
I just want to add.
Yes.
We filmed George with a yearling yesterday, and I didn't even know what to expect. But I was so enamored by what I witnessed that I cannot recommend enough after this. Head over. It's like out. Anyway. Yeah, head over and check out the connection. It's just so powerful. And he's got to leave in like 5 minutes. So if anyone has a question for George, let's start with that, and then we can go from there.
And Krisanna can be our runner.
Question for George? Anyone?
Oh gosh. So I can't come in April. Are you planning on doing any more retreats after April? Because I'd love to come. Okay.
I suspect if there's a large enough desire for it, they'll probably work something out. Yes, back Michelle.
Yesterday, you all talked about how else we might be able to support the film. Could you talk a little bit more about how we can help you get the word out and how we can help support, please?
Krisanna, do you want to answer that one today? No? Okay. Yeah, we're independent filmmakers. We're a team of two. And we can't get this out without help. Obviously, it probably goes without saying, we always need financial support for all of the costs of production. Creating a documentary is quite the expense. And thankfully, we've been blessed enough to have enough support to do all of our filming and to travel and capture what we did. And now we're moving into the phase of full editing. We'll create another sneak preview as a fundraiser. That's what we actually did with this, to create awareness and education and people to get excited about what we're doing. And right now, that sneak preview that we just showed is on our website, rescuedheartsfilm.com, for a $10 donation. But it was free during that fundraising phase. And it got out to 52 countries, and a couple thousand people watched it, and that is the kind of support we need. If you can't donate, that's okay. But if you can get excited, share about it, send it to a friend, or maybe you have an organization you'd like to do a screening with us, share it with your community, in the future, we'd like to build a toolkit where organizations can actually use our film, and we can create other tools that they can use for their communities and organizations. So we're still looking for sponsors and partners, for sure, to bring this film to life. But we also need people that are just excited to watch it when it's done and get it out into the world as far as we can. And thankfully, with our other film, we experienced a lot of success as it relates to getting distributors that really want our work. So we know that Rescued Hearts is going to make it out there in some ways, but you know, we're all a, what do we say? We're all a herd, and we have to help each other. And so yeah, we're just looking for that type of partnership, support, excitement, and actually sometimes Krisanna and I just need a word of encouragement. It's a lot sometimes. Honestly, people don't realize. They're like, we're sure you hear this all the time. And we're like, no, please tell us. Tell us we're okay and we're doing a good job. Okay, we have another question. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, I really appreciate, it was nice to see a lot of the cross-cultural pieces, seeing people like ourselves in that. Was that intentional, accidental, and also multilingual? Were there other languages that you guys were speaking or visited? So can you comment on that?
Thank you for that question.
Can I comment?
Yeah, I would love for you to take this one.
I told Dana, I don't know how far into our filming. I was like,
Way too many months.
I am not making a film about white people. I'm not.
Everybody looks like me, and I was like,
We got to pivot. What is happening? And the people we were filming with were amazing. That's great. Like, there's nothing, nothing negative. But Love Heals, we knew part of the power of our first feature film was the amount of diversity, and it was very intentional. So we just started asking questions and trying to get to know people, and Veronica Lack, who's in the sneak preview with the Herd Institute, she was very critical. She made really important introductions for us, and actually prior to that, we met Kelsey at an event I was doing at ASU. So there was a lot of synchronicity, but Veronica was really instrumental because her mission, and I don't want to speak for her, but as I understand her mission, it's really about creating a safe space so that those who maybe don't look like people traditionally in the horse world can feel seen and heard and understood. And actually we went to her conference and we felt so safe, even as LGBTQ people. And so we're so grateful for Veronica, and we're actually doing some more filming with her next week. But to me, it's really important to elevate the voices that maybe are not naturally elevated. People doing the work that show a wide variety of perspectives. We have had a lot of invitations to other countries where maybe English would not be the primary language, and it just has not worked out. We did go to Australia and New Zealand, and that was really amazing. But we feel like this is not the end. Like, we're uncovering a world that's so powerful, and so we're continuing to have conversations, and also not say, well, we're not going to highlight that person because they're white. But I do tell Dana, to be quite honest, I tell her, it better be really compelling. I mean, this is an all-white panel. Well, that's fine. But it better be really compelling, because to me, it's also the variety of perspectives that matter almost as much as the person doing the work. So I'm grateful that that is just an intention that we set, and it's worked out. So thank you for seeing it. Did that answer your question? Okay.
so we have one question here, but I think Ellen wants to say something as well. Is it related to that?
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, George. Thank you.
I look out in the audience and I'm wondering, why did you come here? So if one of you could say, what drew you to see the film? Like, you're kind of looking, do you mind if I ask you, or to you, or you, or you? Why are you here? Why are you here? Yeah.
Thank you.
I am here because I watched the preview. I feel like it was meant to be that it wasn't random, but saw the preview, and I reached out because I felt like we have been on this journey ourselves of rescuing horses that are deemed damaged, disposable, and dangerous is kind of what seems to come our way. And the way that they captured just the heart of the horse and the humans, I was like, no, we have been told in our journey we need to niche down and niche down. We need to focus on like one specific group of people that we're helping or one specific group of horses. So basically their film just really spoke to me on a deep soul level, and even for us as a horse rescue nonprofit, I guess now we're more of an animal rescue. We have cows. But anyway, it just really, really impacted me, and I'm so grateful because I'm like, somebody finally gets what we're doing here. This is amazing. And so we believe in that full collaborative effort has so much power, and rather than being like, this is my organization, this is my organization, this is mine, like how can we join with people whose hearts are truly to help other people become the best version of themselves. So all of these ladies are so gracious and come out and help at our ranch. So I was here yesterday and said, got to come back today. So that's why we're here.
Thank you, Heather, for your support, and thank you all for coming today.
And she's with Acres of Hope. We talked a lot yesterday, so look her up. Acres of Hope.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm glad we got into the film part of it, because my question is for you. The footage, everything you've done is just, it grabs the audience. I mean, I didn't see a dry eye during parts of it today, and that's the way I feel. And so just the way you've captured and really told stories, even on this short piece, in depth, you obviously spent a lot of time getting to know people. So I'm really interested in your process as a filmmaker. And like, I'm curious, when you go home, you've spent time at George's, how much footage do you have? How many hours? How do you decide what you're putting in these stories, and how much of it do you use? And then, do you find, you said seeing every edit, it's a little bit different, you learn something. Do you ever come away, is there anybody you've come away and you filmed it and then you said, oh my God, as I'm editing, I didn't even realize this was happening? So I'm just curious about that part of it.
Thanks for asking that. Yeah, there's a lot there. So much of this film was really Dana's heart. I can't take because she really would say, this is a person we need to film with. And then together we try to create a really safe and authentic space, and I think a part of that is letting people be themselves. Like not putting people in a box of a story that we've contrived that would be really great for a film. And that's kind of common in filmmaking today. And maybe not, I'm sure not all filmmakers, but as I've observed a lot of filmmakers, it's like, oh, that person's not good on camera. And to quote my friend Ellen Gerke, that's bullshit. Because I think everybody's story matters. I think everyone can be amazing on camera, and it's our job to create the safe space. And how do we do that? We've done, and we continue to do, a lot of our own inner work, a lot of healing work, a lot of work with connecting with ourselves and connecting with our heart, and just showing up as our authentic selves. So in this moment, today, I found out as I was filming this precious soul that that my cousin died last night in her sleep. Like I've known her, we're friends, and I haven't let myself process it, but she was on quite a healing journey. She was going through a lot. And our last film, Love Heals, really impacted her. We just saw her a few months ago, and she had so much gratitude for that film as she was trying to figure out what was happening in her body and what was wrong, and I guess an autopsy will hopefully help us understand why she passed. But that's it. That's why I do this. And I think when I sit down at the computer, I think about every person who struggles with hope, who's experienced traumatic grief, or who doesn't know how to make it through another day because they're in chronic pain and they have no answers, which was a place we were at not that long ago. And I feel like if we can make anything that gives somebody a spark of hope and helps them feel like maybe my life is worth it. And maybe my life isn't just worth it, but I'm here for something bigger, something greater than me. Doesn't matter how many hours I film, doesn't matter how many hours it takes to edit. I know that's my calling. That's why God put me on this planet. So today I'm sharing that because I didn't feel like I was going to share that, but that's my authentic truth in this moment. And watching that thinking about my cousin, feeling like, yeah, she's one of those people that we make these films for. People who are just trying to find hope in any way. And as we needed that hope, and we found community a couple years ago, which is how Love Heals came to be. So it's beautiful to be in these settings where we can just be ourselves. What a gift. I think that's all I have to say about that right now. Thank you.
I struggle a lot with feeling safe. You know, I don't feel safe with a lot of people. I don't know why. And I guess with horses, I feel safe even if they're dangerous. So I think we're all looking for a safe place to land and to feel held. And I struggle with finding that place. And I feel like a lot of other people do too. And for me, safety for my horse comes first, and then safety also safety all around when I do the programs. Everybody's got to be, safety is number one, I'm sorry. And I think it's number one in my heart, but it might be something else. You can't do anything with a horse unless they feel safe in their environment. Just go down to the barn across there, see what's going on. So I don't know, how you find your safe place. So, and I think we feel a lot of struggle these days in our society. And I think you're showing how people have found their safe places that are of color. I mean, I'm Jewish, so maybe I don't look different, but just being Jewish, I've been discriminated. I've lived in Germany. I've read all this stuff, and I don't understand it. But I'm white, so it doesn't show. We don't know what's going on underneath your skin. So just try to find the people that you feel safe with. I don't know, but I'm an energy person, so I don't understand why I don't feel safe sometimes, or why I do, because people have that fake shit on the outside, and I'm like, something's wrong. I feel incongruence about this because they seem so nice, and everybody else likes them, but I don't. There's something wrong with me. And so stop blaming yourself and just trust your intuition and your own power. And the horses teach me that, watching their herd dynamics of who gets kicked around and who gets on top and how they deal with it. And I see one horse, she's always at the bottom, but she always ends up like, I'm okay, accepting where she is. And I'm like, I kind of end up watching her because I have a really dominant mare who's such a bitch, and and I love her. She's like, but it's like, why do you pick on her, the other one, so much, And then they're best friends, and I'm like, it's very interesting to watch that. So, yeah, I know.
She keeps everything predictable.
Thank you for asking a question that opened that, because we haven't been able to process, even together, that grief. So thank you, and thank you for your vulnerability, because that gives everybody else permission to do the same, and that's what matters. And we'll process all of this grief later and now. And that's really what matters. That's what all of this is about. And that's why I believe what we're creating with these films, this is just the first of probably a handful, and one of them will be related to grief. What we filmed in the last year with these themes that came out, grief was so big. It'll be called Broken Hearts. And it matters. And it's time for us to look at these things and share these things and not feel so alone in how we feel and how we're showing up every day. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the journey, because something Krisanna and I realized is it's really not the outcome of the films that matter. It's who we are becoming in the process of creating them. Because these films and these humans and these experiences and these horses heal us too. And that was never our intent, but that's what's happening. So if we can have a ripple effect of healing in the world by creating a film or connecting with a person or having an experience or even listening, Krisanna always tells me listening is literally the same as loving. So if we can be on the opposite end of that camera and let that person connect, and we open our hearts and they open their hearts, that's healing. Just being heard. So that's our mission. That's our hope. So I can't thank you enough for being here. I'm pretty sure we're up time-wise, so I'm going to wrap us. We have flyers. We'll be at the booth. Obviously, there's nobody here right now for the next session, but we'll step back over there if anybody wants to chat with us.